welcome back to another tutorial by Big Al's Barber Channel. What we are here for, guys, is we are a resource for barbers and barber shop owners and students. What we're going to do on this tutorial, guys, is we're going to do a razor fade with I'm going to be doing it with a straight razor, using a straight razor Chevette, using a feather Pro Glide razor blade. And I'm also on this fade. What I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using the new Babyliss Gold FX. So as you've seen right there, the first step I started with a number 4, and what I did was I went around the crown with the number 4 just to make sure that we're nice and even all the way around. The gentleman here didn't want us to do nothing on the top, so we're just basically going to fade it out to a 0. And after I'm done zeroing it out, after I'm done fading it out, I'm going to razor fade it with a straight razor, and I'm going to use a straight razor with a razor. I'm going to go over it with a Bronze Series 9 just to make sure that you get that extra smoothness at the end. So right here, what I start off with is I start off with my wall balder, and basically I have my wall balder zero gapped, and I just use it to take down all the bulk at the bottom and basically just create my first guideline all the way around. As you can see, I start off on the sides like a medium fade, and I drop it down to a low fade in the back. And what I mean by low fade is that, as you can see, there's kind of an arch, and this is just the way this gentleman likes it. He doesn't like it straight across. He likes it to drop down a little bit in the back. And guys, if you guys aren't hip to using the wall balder as a machine for taking down bulk, this is all I use it for, really. I use it for creating this guideline right here. I used to use my trimmer to do that, but I just waste a lot of time and a lot of money in trimmer blades. So right here I get started now with the new Babyliss Gold FX, and you know, this is an interesting machine. It's big. To me, it feels like the size of a Oster, but it's a really nice machine and really smooth. So what I'm starting right here is I started with a number 1 blade and the number 1 clip, and I with the lever open all the way down, and you can see. Which makes it a 1.5, and I'm just going right up to the side of the crown. As you see, the reason why I started with a number 4 first was just in case there was anything sticking out, anything that was too much bulk on the sides. And I always reduce the bulk down first when I do it. Whenever I do a fade, I always start off with a number 4 just to reduce the bulk around the crown of the head. So once I did that, now I got the number 1 lever open, and I'm just going up to almost to the same spot I did with number 4, just smoothing it out. Once I went across with the 1.5, I lowered my lever half of the way, and I went halfway up. And then once I did that, I lowered the lever all the way, and I went all the way back to the same spot I went with when I had the lever all the way down. Basically, just what you're doing is you're doing it number 1 up to the top of the crown, and then number 1.5 up to the top of the crown, and then number 1 to the bottom of the crown. So right there, anything excessive that was sticking out that I didn't get with the number 4, I just basically right there I was just clipper over combing it, just getting it all out, make it nice and smooth. What I'm doing here now is I grab my trimmer, my GTX trimmer, Scalatorized, and all I'm doing is just removing the bottom. He has white hair which has no pigment in it, so when as you know when there's no pigment, the hair tends to get real coarse and just getting the little bristles right there. So I just want to make sure I know where my shave line is for when I add my shave cream. I know exactly where to add it. So now here again, I get the number 1 clip on there, and basically I'm just gonna go all the way up. 1 lever open. Now I closed it, and I'm just using the number 1. All I did was go across it, number 1. Right there, I lowered the lever all the way, and I'm just going number 1 all the way halfway up, only halfway up. So we started with a number 4, then we went 1.5, and now we're at number 1. Now I'm going to take off my clip, lever all the way open, and I'm going to go up about, I would say maybe an inch. And I'm creating a guideline. As you can see, it created a guideline right there. Now, this machine is very simple to fade with because it has notches on the lever, which makes it very easy. So there's 4 notches on the lever, which is perfect for how the way I explain it. So you move it up 1 notch and go up almost to the same spot, go all the way across, move it up 1 more notch. Now I'm only going up halfway up. Now I lower the lever 1 more notch, and I'm only going a quarter of the way up. Now I close my lever all the way, and I'm just basically concentrating on the bottom of the line, fading it out. That's one thing about this Babyliss Gold FX that's really interesting, is the way it's set up with notches. And if you're learning how to cut hair, it's very easy to learn with notches, because you could tell what the next section is that you're going to drop your lever down to. So right here I'm just basically working on getting everything below the guideline that I made with the half, with the lever all the way open. And you can see there's still a little bit of a shadow, little dark shadow right there, right where we created the line. So now I'm going to go back in with my half clip, lever open, and I'm focusing on the center of that shadow, just dragging that blade across. I lower my notch 1 more time, and I'm just basically blending in that center shadow. It's a simple way of fading, guys. Right there, I just took off my blade and I'm just working on the bottom, just making sure, just doing a little bit of detail work, making sure that it's nice and clean, making sure there's no shadows, no lines, before I move on to my next section. As always, I fade in 3 parts. I fade on the right side, the back side, and then the left side. So here, quickly again, I grab my number 4, and I'm just removing all the bulk. I don't want to go in too much on the top. I just going right off the side of the head. Remember, guys, the crown, when I'm talking about the crown, you got to imagine this gentleman wearing a crown around his head. And there's the lower bottom of the crown, center of the crown, and the top of the crown. The bottom of the crown is almost where the guideline is. You can see it right there. If he was wearing a crown, that would be the bottom of the line on the side of the head. As you can see, the back of it drops down because it's a drop fade. So right there, basically what I'm doing now is I went with my number. First I went with the number 4. Now I got my number 1 clip on there, number 1 lever open, and I'm creating a guide. As you can see, I created a guide all the way up to the top, almost to I want to say it's to the top of the crown where I'm creating that guide, maybe a little bit less than the top of the crown. And you can see where the number 4 is and the number 1 is. There's a step there. So now I'm gonna grab my clipper over comb, no clip on the machine, and I'm just gonna blend it out right there. And the reason why I'm blending it out right there is because, remember, we did a number 1.5, and then we did a number 4 clip. So you have to blend that 1.5 into the number 4. Now you could do steps right here if you really don't like using clipper over comb. You could go 3, 2, 1.5, and it'll all blend in the same way. Me, myself, I don't like doing it that way because I'm a fast barber. So if you want to be quicker, you want to be faster, then you got to find the shortcuts. So that's what it is all about when you're fading. You have to find the shortcuts, and you got to move with them, and create those shortcuts, find them, and stick with them. And that's how you get to be a faster fader. So right here, I'm back again with the number 1 clip, lever open, and I'm just going up to that same guideline that I created last time, just basically working below it. And as I go across, I lower the lever all the way up. Okay, so now I take off the clip. Now I'm back to a half clip, no clip, and I'm just gonna go all the way across. You see that? I go all the way across and create a guideline. Now I go up 1 notch, which is a quarter of the machine, a quarter of the lever, and I'm going to go up to the same spot again. Now I lower it 1/4 notch again, which is halfway across on the lever. Now I'm going up halfway up. Now I'm going to lower my lever another notch, 1 more, and now I'm just basically focusing on the bottom line, just trying to fade out that bottom line. Just working on the bottom of the shadow. Excuse my camera work here. I kind of jumped in front of the camera, but I'm trying to get the best angles for you guys so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. But sometimes it doesn't work out. But you can see right there the fade's taking shape now. All we have now is the center shadow right there, and that center shadow we take care of with the half clip. Now I put my half clip on, lever open, and I'm just gonna drag it across that center shadow. As you can see, as I drag it across, lightens up. Now I drop my notch one more slot, and I'm gonna go across the same shadow again. And as I go across, you guys can see I'm kind of like pushing in at the time of the shadow, push in and push out, push in and push out. Now I lower my the notch one more, and I'm just gonna go across, keep dragging it, focusing on the center shadow. And that's like a guideline that I created with a half originally. That's basically it, guys. You know, you're creating lines and erasing lines. That's what fading is all about. So here again, I move on to my number 4 clip. Number 4, I always start off with my number 4, as I say, to remove the bulk on the side of the crown. Not going up the carotid ridge. I know you don't want to drive your machine into the carotid ridge. You just want to go right up the side, right up the crown. Now I'm going to grab my number 1 clip, and I'm going to create another guideline. I'm going to go up right to the top of the crown. Remember, right here you can pretty much see the crown. You can see the bottom of the crown is where the guideline is. The top of the crown is kind of where I just stopped right there. And the crown is actually the width of a comb, if you really think about it. So right here I'm going back with my clipper over comb, no clip, and basically I'm just blending out what I did. Remember, always you go up with the 1.5. First you go with the 4, then the 1.5, and then you're gonna blend it out, clipper over comb. And you can see the fade's already taking shape right there. So right here I start with my 1.5. It's a 1.5 because I have my 1 clip lever open, and I'm going across, just cleaning it up, guys. Now I'm gonna take off my clip, no clip, lever open, that's a half, and I'm gonna go up 1 inch and create a guideline right to the center of the crown. And I go across, I lower my lever 1 notch, and I go up back to the same spot again. Then I lower my lever a quarter, now it's at the halfway notch, and I'm gonna go halfway up. 1 more notch, and I'm just gonna hit the bottom of the line. There's 4 notches on there, guys. The bottom of the line. Now I'm just gonna go back and just do a little bit of detail work. I'm looking at it in the mirror, and I notice that there's like a little bit of shadow on the bottom. So I'm just gonna, with the lever open, and I move it, and you gotta. This is a feeling that you pick up doing fades. You know, you can see more or less where your lever needs to be in order to erase a shadow, and that takes time to get that eye right there. Now I'm gonna put my half clip back on, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a shadow right in the center right there, and that's the shadow that you created when I went with no clip. Now with a half clip, you're gonna go across it, lower your lever a quarter of the way, go across it again, move it up 1 notch again, halfway up now, you're just dragging across the center of that shadow. And right now I'm gonna close it all the way, and basically it's all faded out. Now I'm just practicing right on the center of the shadow. Now it's all closed. Just cleaning it up, just blending it up, make it look nice and natural. No line at the bottom, make it nice and smooth, all the way around. Easy fade, guys, super easy fade. Now everybody knows there's 2 ways of doing a razor fade, guys. You could do a razor fade by actually razoring it with a razor machine, which I do most of the time. I would say 70% of the times I use a Bronze Series 9 on somebody. But there's always those certain customers that love that old school feel, and this is where it comes in right here, where you have to do an actual razor fade with a straight razor. Now, before I used to use a regular straight razor, I used to use just derbies or Derby Professionals, which I still use them. I'm not gonna say I never use them no more. I still use them, but lately I've been experimenting with sharper razors. And what I find out now is I've been liking using the Feather Artist razors. The Feather Artist razors are so smooth and so sharp. So what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm applying my lather. I grab some hot lather from my machine, and I can already see where my fade is. So when I apply my lather, I always apply the lather in my hand, and I use 2 fingers to apply it smoothly all the way across, keeping it below the fade. That way I can always see where I need to fade and where I not. And at the same time, I'm creating a visual of what the skin looks like, making sure that there's no skin tags, making sure that skin tags are very easy to cut off and they bleed forever. So you need to be very careful. So what I'm using on this razor fade right here is I'm using this new Chevette razor that I bought from West Coast Shaving, and this Chevette is only a $25 Chevette. Now this Chevette, if you were to buy the artist type, the artist brand, the Feather Artist brand, then it would cost you about $130. But this particular one is only $25 if you order from West Coast Shaving. So you can see the short handle on it. There's no long handle, no collapsing handle like a normal razor. This is kind of like a little straight handle razor, and it uses these particular blades. The blade that I'm using on here is called a Pro Guard blade, and the Pro Guard blade is a blade that has it's a little bit more forgiving than the professional blades. The professional blades are super sharp. The 2 times that I've used already, I used them. I actually nicked somebody, and I'm pretty good with a straight razor. But right here, you guys can see I actually when I start shaving down, guys, I always create a little guideline, and I bring it down in small strokes. And you can see right here, watch. I'm gonna use my thumb, and that's gonna be my shave line right there. So from right there is where I started, and I always start with a little bit of a wiggle, and I come straight down. A little bit of a wiggle, and come straight down. And the wiggle I use, the reason why is so that's my blending right there. If you don't do the wiggle, you're gonna create a straight line. If you just come straight down, you're gonna create a shave line, and that shave line is the hardest line to get out of all lines. So what I like to do is I just give it a little bit of a wiggle, and you can see when I come down, it eliminates creating that shave line. See the little wiggle, and then I bring it straight down. Nice smooth strokes. A little bit of a wiggle, and then straight down. Around the ears is always the trickiest part, because you'll see right here. Actually, this side is the easy side. The other side was a hard side because you have to come in with a backstroke. I didn't really get a chance to explain it, but you can see you come across. Basically, guys, is being very super careful. This is the hardest part right here, right? When you come back behind the ear right there, because you have to come back with a backstroke. You can't come with a front stroke because the ear's in the way. So you have to come in with a backstroke, and that right there is. When I cut somebody, it's always in that spot right there. So guys, when you do a straight razor shave like this, it doesn't take a long time. Like if you can see right here, this is in real time, and seriously, it only takes a few, maybe 2-3 minutes to do it to complete the razor fade. It shouldn't take you that long. Right there, what I'm doing is just going back, doing a little wiggle on it, and I see a little shadow, and I'm just trying to blend it out so that there's no shadow, the shave line shadows. The shave line shadows are the worst because those are the hardest ones to come up. You can even, after you're done with this, a lot of times what I do is I'll grab my GTX trimmer, and I'll go back and I'll just clean it up a little bit. And I'll go back and just, especially where I shaved, I'll just go up and I'll go up and pull up. Don't just go up and stick the machine in there. You gotta see it right here. I can see a little shave shadow. I'm just gonna push up. And when I get to the spot where I want, I pull up. You have to pull up, because if you don't pull up, you're going to create another shadow right there that's really hard to get. Just a little bit of a cleanup. Just drag your machine right where you shaved it out. That way there's no shadow line, and you get that perfect blend. There'll be no discrepancies there. There'll be no shadows, no shades. There's nothing worse than when you see a fade and they have a ring all the way around, guys. That's just the worst. And believe me, guys, if you guys are to get started and that's the hardest problem for you, it just takes time. This is something a skill that's developed over the years, and there's no quick way of learning it. Everybody has to learn it, but you should learn how to use a straight razor. If you call yourself a barber, you should be doing this haircut. Every barber should be doing razor fades. I hear a lot of customers coming in and telling me that they don't do razor fades at a lot of barbershops anymore, that they don't want to use a straight razor, that they only use the razor machine. No, that's nonsense. If you call yourself a barber, you should be using a straight razor. Absolutely. So right here, pretty much the haircut is done, guys. That's it. That's all there is to a razor fade. Uh, a lot of times when I'm done with this haircut right here, what I'll do now is I'll go back and I'll clean it up right now. He didn't want nothing on the top, so what I'll do right here is I'll go back and I'll use my Bronze Series 9 and I'll just go upwards on the machine, because as you know, when you're doing these kind of shaves or these razor fades, there's always some kind of stubble that's left behind. So if you use your Bronze Series 9 or whatever shaver you have, if you use it at the very end, it'll make your fade look that much nicer. The best advice I can give you guys about doing razor fades is just do them. If you don't do them, you're never going to learn them. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any questions, leave them below. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click the bell button so that you get a notification every time I drop a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Grind on.